But when he arrived at the cafe, Sir Topham Hatt wasn't there. Rusty was puzzled.
They should be here by now.
Rusty began to worry. Rusty decided to look for them.
I'm sure they can't be far away,
He thought. At the quarry, Rusty found a group of campers. They were putting up their tents. Rusty asked if they had seen Sir Topham Hatt and his family. "No, we haven't," said the campers. Then Rusty met a party of fishermen at the coal mine.
Have you seen Sir Topham Hatt?
He asked. "No," said the fisherman. At the ruined castle, Rusty found a group of skiers. They hadn't seen Sir Topham Hatt and his family either. Rusty puffed on. And then he stopped.
This is very strange.
He puzzled.
Why were the skiers at the ruined castle, and the fishermen at the coal mine, and the campers at the quarry? Bust my buffers!
Rusty honked.
The signposts must be all pointing in the wrong direction. I made the workmen rush. This is all my fault.
Rusty knew he had to go back to the place Sir Topham Hatt and his family had started from, then follow the signs they had followed. So Rusty raced off. Soon Rusty arrived at the place where he had dropped off Sir Topham Hatt. He looked at the signpost. The signpost wasn't pointing to the lake. It was pointing towards the hills.
That's the way to Hill Farm,
thought Rusty. Rusty chugged up the steep track towards the farm as fast as he could. When Rusty arrived at Hill Farm, he found Sir Topham Hatt and his family. Rusty explained all about the signposts.
I'm sorry, sir,
He said sadly.
I've spoilt your day. You wanted to go to the lake, and now you're at Hill Farm.
But we're having a wonderful day, boomed Sir Topham Hatt. The children have had a marvelous time playing with the animals. Rusty was very happy. Later, Rusty delivered everyone safely back to the wharf. "Goodbye, Rusty," called the children. "You can go home now."
Not yet,
said Rusty.
I've one more job to do.
Rusty hurried over to the workmen. Rusty told them about the signposts pointing in the wrong directions.
It was all my fault for hurrying you,
He hooted.
but I can take you back to put them right. And this time, I won't rush.
When to stop and when to go, these are things you have to know. When to start, when to break, choices that you have to make. To know what signals mean, where you're going, where you've been, where is straight, where to turn, all these things you have to learn. Get to know your navigation.
Henry has to go to two places, the castle and the lake. There are two tracks, an up track and a down track. First, he must go to the castle. Which track should Henry take? The one that goes up or the one that goes down? Henry's taking the down track. Is that right? No. The down track will take Henry to the lake. Which track should he take? That's right. Henry must take the up track to get to the castle. Now, Henry must go to the lake. Which track should Henry take to get there? The up track or the down track? That's right. Henry must take the down track to get to the lake. Well done, Henry. The island of Sodor is a wonderful place. Thomas enjoys puffing all over the island. There are lots of special places to visit. Where's this? That's right. It's Tidmouth Sheds. Tidmouth Sheds is a very special place for all the engines. It's where they rest their aching axles at night. Pump their pistons in the morning, and share stories and surprises. No time was more surprising at Tidmouth than Halloween. Sir Topham Hatt told Thomas and Emily to collect iron from the smelter's yard. Thomas and Emily were very excited. Later that night, all the engines were woken up when they heard Thomas's loud whistle. "I'm being chased by a ghost," he tooted. The engines couldn't see a ghost. Percy told him it was only Emily. Thomas felt silly. The engines would all remember this Halloween for a long time. Engines don't only sleep at Tidmouth Sheds. Sometimes they hide there. One night, all the engines were asleep, except Percy. Percy could hear Sir Topham Hatt talking to his driver. He told him Percy had been late too often and must go to the scrap yards. Percy thought Sir Topham Hatt wanted to scrap him. Percy worried all night long. And all the next day. His friend Thomas tried to cheer him up. "Sir Topham Hatt wouldn't scrap a really useful engine," tooted Thomas. "And you, Percy, are a really useful engine." But Percy wasn't so sure. So Percy decided to hide. Later, Thomas chuffed in. He thought his friend might be hiding in the sheds. And he was. Percy looked very small and lonely. He didn't want Sir Topham Hatt to find him. And he didn't want to be scrapped. Sir Topham Hatt was surprised. He had told Percy's driver Percy had been working too hard, and that was why he was late. Percy was to take scrap to the smelters, then carry the mail all week. Percy was so happy he thought fireworks would fly from his funnel. And that's why Tidmouth Sheds is a very special place for Percy. There are so many special places on the island of Sodor. Next time, Thomas will show us somewhere else. Toby has a busy day today. He has to pick up some workmen. Then he must take them to their job in the forest. The workmen are waiting at the station. Which track should Toby take to get there? The track that goes under the bridge or the track that goes over the bridge? Are you sure, Toby? I don't think that track will get you to the station. That's right. Toby goes over the bridge to get to the station. Toby has collected the workmen. Now he must take them to the forest. Which track should Toby take to get there? The track that goes over the bridge or the track that goes under the bridge? That's right, Toby. You go under the bridge to get to the forest. Toby has collected the workmen and taken them to the forest. Toby's a really useful engine. Thomas and the Shooting Star. It was a busy day on the island of Sodor. All the engines were working hard. They wanted to finish their work as quickly as possible. That night, a shooting star was going to flash across the sky. Anyone who saw it could make a wish. None of the engines had ever seen a shooting star before. As the sun started to set, the engines were watching the darkening sky. They were thinking about their wishes. I'm going to wish to be grander, huffed Gordon. I'm going to wish to be redder, snorted James. I'm going to wish to pull the mail forever and ever, peeped Percy happily. Thomas didn't know what to wish for. Never having to work with Diesel again, he thought. Or never wearing my snowplow. Or never having to pull smelly fish, he tooted. Sir Topham had arrived with some engineers. The power station has broken down. There are no lights on the island, he boomed. Thomas, you must take the engineers to repair it right away. Be sure to go the quickest way, he added. Look out for the shooting star, Thomas, peeped Percy, and remember to make a wish. I will, whistled Thomas, and he steamed away. The power station was on the far side of the island. Thomas puffed happily along. He made sure to take the quickest way. But then he came to a long, dark tunnel. If I go through the tunnel, I won't be able to see the sky. Then I might miss the shooting star, he wished. So Thomas puffed back up to the junction. And he took a different route. This isn't the fastest way, he chuffed. But if I puff hard enough, I'll be at the power station just as quickly. But Thomas wasn't at the power station just as quickly. He was at Henry's Forest instead. The trees were tall, and the branches blocked out the sky.